Welcome to Max Premieres. This month brings back the returns the fandom has been waiting months for, adaptations nobody knew they needed, and premieres ranging from the darkest Nordic noir to the strangest horse race of the 19th century. There's something for everyone. Action, anime, crime, drama, superheroes, and adventure. Today we're going through the 15 biggest premieres of March across all platforms, from the one making the least noise to the one setting the internet on fire. But before we start the video, it would mean a lot if you took a moment to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Number 14, Vladimir. A literature professor at a New York university has spent years in a stable relationship, with a solid career and a life that looks perfectly ordered on paper. But when the department hires a younger new colleague, something inside her comes undone. It's not just attraction, it's obsession. And that obsession starts bleeding into every decision she makes, inside and outside the classroom. Rachel Weisz plays this professor with that blend of intelligence and fragility that only she knows how to build. Leo Woodall, known from The White Lotus, is the colleague who sets everything in motion. The series is based on the novel by Julia May Jonas and explores the boundaries between intellectual admiration and desire, between institutional power and personal vulnerability. It runs 8 episodes, and Netflix is positioning it as one of its prestige adult dramas of the month. What works is Weisz's performance, which carries the entire series on its own. Where it might frustrate is in the pacing deliberately slow and literary, built for audiences who enjoy character analysis more than action. It's not for everyone, but those who connect with the premise will find something genuinely well-crafted. Number 13, That Night. 3 sisters travel together to the Dominican Republic. One night, something goes terribly wrong. An accident, a decision made in panic, and the silent pact to never speak of what happened. When they return to Spain, each one tries to carry on as if that night never existed. But secrets don't disappear, they accumulate. Clara Gal, Claudia Salas, and Paula Ucero, 3 of the most recognizable young faces in Spanish television, star in this adaptation of Gillian McAllister's novel. The 3 have real chemistry together, and the series knows how to use it. The thriller works in the early episodes, where the tension between the sisters builds naturally. The setting split between Spain and the Caribbean gives it a visual aesthetic that stands apart from typical Spanish productions. At only 6 episodes, the pacing is tight, and there's no room for unnecessary subplots. The premise is solid, and the trailer generated strong reactions from young audiences already familiar with its lead actresses. Whether the execution lives up to the setup is the question, but everything points in the right direction. Number 12, Ted Season 2. The most foul-mouthed teddy bear in television history is back for his 2nd year of high school. Ted is the prequel series to Seth MacFarlane's films, set in 1994, where the bear still lives with John Bennett during his teenage years. The first season worked surprisingly well as a situational comedy, adult humor, 90s nostalgia, and the dynamic between a normal teenager and a teddy bear who acts like the worst possible best friend. In this 2nd season, John is in his senior year of high school, which brings new pressures: college, relationships, the future. Seth MacFarlane voices Ted and also produces, so the tone stays completely faithful to the original films. Max Burkholder returns as John. The series has a solid handle on absurd humor and never pretends to be more than what it is. For fans of MacFarlane's style of comedy who want something lighter than Family Guy, this delivers. Those who connected with the first season will find the same energy here, and the 1994 setting continues to be one of its strongest assets. Number 11, Outlander Season 8. Outlander is one of the great love stories of modern television. Claire Randall, a World War II nurse, touches a circle of stones in Scotland and travels 180 years into the past, where she meets Jamie Fraser, a Scottish warrior, and her life changes forever. What began as a time travel, romance became one of the most beloved historical dramas of the last decade, with millions of devoted followers around the world. In this final season, the story reaches the American Revolution. Jamie and Claire, after everything they have lived through, face their last great chapter at a moment when a new nation is being born, and the world they know is about to change forever. Sam Hohen and Catriona Balfe say goodbye to their characters across these 10 episodes. For anyone who has followed the series from the beginning, This final season is mandatory. The performances have only deepened over 8 seasons, and the Revolutionary War setting gives the farewell a historical weight that fits everything this story has always been about. Number 10. Rooster. Bill Lawrence is the man behind Scrubs, Ted Lasso, and Shrinking, 3 series that share one thing in common. They look like simple comedies on the surface and quietly devastate you when you least expect it. Rooster is his newest project, and this time he brings Steve Carell back to television in a role that moves well away from the Michael Scott everyone knows. Carell plays a writer who has spent years distant from his daughter, and the series kicks off when he shows up on the college campus where she studies, using reconnection as his excuse. What follows mixes the awkwardness of that reunion with campus situations, sharp dialogue, and Lawrence's signature ability to talk about serious things with a smile on his face. Charlie Clive plays the daughter, alongside Danielle Deadwyler, Phil Dunster, and John C. McGinley. The combination of Carell with Lawrence is one of the most promising in comedy this year on paper. The trailer landed well. That said, it remains to be seen whether the execution sustains that level across all 10 episodes or peaks early. Number 9. Young Sherlock. Sherlock Holmes is 19 years old, studying at Oxford, and already the most irritatingly brilliant person in any room he walks into. Before the cases, before Watson, before Baker Street, there is a young man who sees the world in a way no one else can replicate and who still doesn't quite know what to do with that gift. Guy Ritchie, the director behind the Sherlock Holmes films with Robert Downey Jr., serves as executive producer, which gives the series a more cinematic energy than most television right from the start. Hero Fiennes Tiffin, known for his role in After, plays this young Sherlock, and the casting decision makes sense. The character needs someone with presence, but also that soft arrogance that never quite becomes unlikable. The series is based on Andrew Lane's novels and explores the early cases that shaped the most famous detective in literature. For audiences who enjoy the origins of classic characters and the atmosphere of Victorian England, this is made to order. The premise is strong and the production values look the part. Number 8. Marshals, a Yellowstone story. The Yellowstone universe keeps expanding. Taylor Sheridan has spent years building an entire franchise around Montana, the Duttons, and the modern American West, and this spin-off takes a different road than the ones before it. Case Dutton, one of the most beloved characters from the original series, leaves the family ranch and joins the United States Marshals, the federal agents responsible for enforcing the law in the country's most difficult corners. Luke Grimes steps back into the role he built over 5 seasons of Yellowstone, this time as the undisputed lead. Alongside him is Joel Kinnaman, one of the most reliable action drama actors on television, and Gil Birmingham, who also comes from the original universe. What's interesting here is the format. Instead of the family and political drama of Yellowstone, this is an action procedural, with different cases each week inside a larger ongoing narrative. 13 episodes give the series room to develop both sides of that equation. For fans of the Dutton universe, it's essential, and for those who never watched Yellowstone, it's a relatively friendly entry point. The name alone brings a built-in audience. Number 7. Imperfect Women. 3 friends, 20 years of friendship, and one of them turns up dead. Elizabeth Moss, Kerry Washington, and Kate Mara form the central trio of this series, and that cast alone justifies the attention. The 3 play women who have spent decades together, who know each other like no one else does, and who now have to deal with the death of the woman who was the heart of their group. The murder investigation slowly unravels layers of secrets none of them wanted exposed. The series is based on Araminta Hall's novel and carries the same energy as Big Little Lies. Complex women, friendships with hidden fractures, and a mystery that isn't just about who killed whom, but about who these people really are beneath the surface. Moss, who has been one of television's finest actresses since The Handmaid's Tale, leads the cast with a naturalness that makes everything around her work. Washington provides the emotional counterweight. Mara builds the most closed off of the 3 characters, and the tension between them is where the series comes alive. The writing treats all 3 equally, which is rarer than it should be. If you liked Big Little Lies, this one belongs on your list. Number 6. Joe Nesbo's Detective Hole. Harry Hole is the most famous detective in Nordic literature. Joe Nesbo has been writing about him for nearly 30 years, with 13 novels published and over 50 million copies sold worldwide. Now, Netflix is releasing the first official television adaptation of the character, and the bet is a big one. Hull is an investigator with the Oslo crime squad, extraordinarily effective at his job, with an instinct for cases that few can match. He also carries his own demons: drinking, broken relationships, an inability to follow rules he considers pointless. Think John Constantine without the magic, or a Nordic McNulty with more cold weather and less bureaucracy. Tobias Santelman, one of the most respected Norwegian actors of his generation, takes on the lead role. Joel Kinnaman also appears in the cast. This first season adapts The Devil's Star, one of the darkest novels in the saga, where Hull investigates a series of murders connected by a deeply disturbing pattern. Netflix is releasing it simultaneously in over 200 countries. For fans of European thrillers and Scandinavian noir, this is exactly what they've been waiting for. Number 5. Steelball Run, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. 1890, United States. A horse race that crosses the entire country from coast to coast, from San Diego to New York, with a $50 million prize for whoever finishes first. Thousands of riders. Thousands of miles. And in the middle of all of it, two men who couldn't be more different, but whom fate is about to bring together in a way neither of them can see coming. Johnny Joestar is a former paralyzed jockey searching for a way to regain the use of his legs. Giro Zeppeli is an Italian executioner carrying a secret that goes far beyond winning money. Steelball Run is considered by a large part of the community to be the best arc in the entire JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga, and that's saying a lot from a franchise that already has extraordinary stories across every part. The adaptation arrives on Netflix with a first episode running 47 minutes, a clear sign that the creative team isn't in a rush. The anime community has been waiting years for this. The studios involved have the full backing of the franchise behind them. If there is one anime that is going to dominate the conversation on social media this month, this is it. Number 4. Invincible, Season 4. Mark Grayson is not the kind of superhero who smiles for the camera. He's a kid who inherited his father's powers, discovered that father was actually the most dangerous being in the universe, and has been carrying that weight ever since, while trying to survive, love, study, and save the world at the same time. Invincible has spent 3 seasons proving that adult animation can be just as complex and emotionally devastating as any live-action drama. Each season has escalated in violence, consequences, and character depth in a way that few superhero series dare to attempt. In this 4th season, the story moves directly into the Viltrumite War, the largest conflict in the entire saga, where the Viltrumite Empire sets its sights on conquering Earth, and Mark has to decide exactly what he is willing to lose to protect everyone. Steven Yeun delivers the voice with an intensity that has grown season by season. Prime Video treats it as one of its flagship events of the year. For those already following the series, this is the season everything has been building toward. For those who haven't started yet, begin from the beginning. There are no shortcuts here. Number 3. One Piece, Season 2. There were every reason in the world for the One Piece live-action adaptation to fail. The anime is one of the longest and most beloved in history, with over 1,000 episodes, and a community that protects every detail with unmatched ferocity. And yet, Netflix pulled it off. The first season won over the skeptics, convinced the fans, and brought millions of new viewers who had never watched the anime. Iñaki Godoy as Monkey D. Luffy captured something that seemed impossible to translate into live action. That boundless energy, that unfiltered optimism, that absolute conviction that he is going to become king of the pirates, even when nothing in the world suggests it's possible. In this second season, the Straw Hat crew sails into the Grand Line, the most dangerous and extraordinary stretch of sea in the world, where the normal rules don't apply. New crewmates join the team. Chopper and Nico Robin make their entrance, 2 of the most beloved characters in the entire franchise. The enemies are stronger, the stakes are higher, and the story enters arcs that anime fans consider some of the best in the whole saga. Netflix is treating this as one of its global events of the quarter. The question is no longer whether it works, it's how much better it can get. Everything points to this season surpassing the last one. Number 2, Scarpetta. Dr. K. Scarpetta has spent 35 years as the most influential character in forensic literature. Patricia Cornwell created her in 1990, sold over 120 million copies worldwide, and for decades the question was always the same: when does she finally get the screen adaptation she deserves? The answer is now. Nicole Kidman plays Scarpetta, a forensic pathologist who returns to her hometown to reclaim her position as chief medical examiner after decades away, and immediately finds herself face to face with a case that has disturbing connections to the case that defined the beginning of her career 28 years earlier. The series unfolds across two parallel timelines, the present with Kidman and the 90s with Rosie McEwen playing the young Scarpetta. Jamie Lee Curtis plays Dorothy, Kay's sister, a relationship so loaded with history and unresolved tension it could carry a series of its own. Bobby Cannavale, Simon Baker, and Ariana DeBose complete a cast that has no weak links. Amazon ordered a second season before the premiere. Blumhouse Television is in the production, and David Gordon Green directed 5 of the 8 episodes. This is not a gamble, it's a statement. Bringing 3 Oscar winners together in the same series built around one of literature's most beloved heroines is exactly the kind of television event that happens once every several years. The trailer was one of the most talked about reveals of February. Number 1. Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2. Wilson Fisk won. The man who spent years running organized crime from the shadows now operates in broad daylight, with a suit, with a title, with votes. Fisk is the mayor of New York City. And from that position of absolute power, his first order of business is to eliminate the masked vigilantes of the city once and for all. He has the law on his side, he has the police on his side. He has the media on his side. Matt Murdock has none of that. The first season of Born Again was a turbulent process. Massive rewrites, a creative overhaul midway through production, and a final result that divided opinions. But it delivered something crucial. It proved that Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin remain one of the best antagonistic pairs in all of superhero television. Season 2 arrives with a clear purpose and without the turbulence of the road that led here. The story is more focused, the stakes are higher, and the return of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones is the addition nobody saw coming and that could completely shift the dynamic of the entire series. The Daredevil fandom in the United States is one of the largest and most demanding in the entire Marvel universe. They have been following Matt Murdock for over a decade, from the 3 original Netflix seasons through this return. This season is the real test. If Born Again delivers here what it promises, it locks itself in as the most important superhero series Disney Plus currently has in production. All eyes are on March 24th. That was the top 15 series of March, a month that asked nothing of anyone, with premieres across every platform, for every taste and every kind of audience. From the most anticipated anime of the community to the return of the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, through Nordic detectives, forensic pathologists with 3 Oscars between them and pirates who don't understand the word impossible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next videos. There's a lot more coming this month, and we'll be here to cover all of it.